My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. Texas, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, the 2-0 Dallas Cowboys, and also one of the top-ranked teams in college football, the Texas Longhorns as well. My name's Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia producing today's show. What's going on, Joe?
Man, great sports weekend, man. I was out there with the fans at Saturday at the SAFC tailgate.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Met some, the extended family here of the Alamo City Sportscast. Got to hang out with Stephanie Mejia, Chicana Fuerte.
There she goes.
And our boy here, Chris Leja, man. I got to meet his family. Got to meet the wife and his little boy. Great seeing him, man. It was a good time.
It was a great weekend for sports. I had a fantastic time in Austin. We're going to get into that, but this is a big show. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. You can also subscribe to us as a podcast format, wherever you get podcasts, whether it be iHeart or Apple Music or Spotify. Come hang out with us. You can leave a comment or two on our YouTube stream. Again, subscribe to the Alamo City Sportscast, or podcast, if you will, if you want to take part in it. Lots of people coming in saying time to roast Jimenez. There's no roasting to be had. I am unroastable, dude. That is what it is, man. I am unroastable. So what are we getting into today? Dallas Cowboys now 2-0 after beating the Aaron Rodgers-less New York Jets at Jerry World.
Yeah.
Tonight we got 2 Monday Night Football games, including one involving my New Orleans Saints.
NOLA.
UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor saying, I'm sorry. He's apologizing for the comments he made after the team's loss to Army on Friday night. Texas Longhorns moving up in the rankings. We'll get into that. Speaking of moving up, primetime Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes.
Man, that was one for the record books, man.
Still undefeated. We're going to talk entertainment news as well. A country music star says she is done with country music. We'll tell you who that is and why. Apparently, people don't realize that not only does Chick-fil-A have the Lord's chicken, but it also has the Lord's burrito. And I had one for breakfast today. So you wanted to talk about that? It's also National Cheeseburger Day. Tell us where you like to get cheeseburgers. And lots to get into today. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, I had no idea Chick-fil-A served burritos, man. And speaking of which, right on cue, Christopher Leja, where's El Polito Jimenez?
I'm right here, baby. I'm right here because it's Mondays with Michael. Now, let's go ahead and get into that first. Okay, so first of all, why was I at Chick-fil-A? I know John Dyer was giving me crap on Twitter earlier this morning because I posted a photo of the Chick-fil-A burrito saying it's the Lord's burrito because it comes from Chick-fil-A. My daughter had a doctor's appointment this morning, and my wife works at University Hospital, and that's where the doctor's appointment was at. So my wife took her to the doctor's appointment, and I went to go pick her up, and it was like a handoff, right? And then I took her to school. Now, on the way back to school, she was hungry, so she wanted breakfast. So she wasn't going to pick a taqueria, dude. There's no 11-year-old girl who's going to be like, I want to go to some taqueria on the west side or the south side. Plus, we live in West Bexar County, so I said pick something along the way. So I'm thinking McDonald's, something like that, right?
Quick.
She chose Chick-fil-A. I was like, great, we'll get down. We'll have some Chick-fil-A. And I'm looking up, and just a chicken biscuit wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted sausage and eggs. Now, they have a bowl there, by the way, at Chick-fil-A that has basically the eggs and sausage and potatoes and hash browns, all that stuff in there with cheese. And I looked over, and I remembered they have burritos there. And I've had it before, right? Typically, I have the chicken one, which is weird, eating chicken and egg at the same time. To me, it just kind of throws me off. But I had the sausage and egg one today. It was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a C+ type of meal. The chicken one, I'll give a solid B on. But they have the little picante, little salsa package.
Yeah.
And, so I'm not going to go to some taqueria, John Dyer, in the middle of the west side on a Monday morning when I got to take my kid to school. Okay. She enjoyed the chicken minis. Is it good? It's fine. Like, it passes the time. It fills you up. It's fine. Am I going to go home and write home about it? No, I'm not. Not at all. Lots of people reacting to things going on over the weekend saying that I'm going to be roasted today. No way I'm going to be roasted. I'm unroastable, dude. You have to give a crap to be roasted. And I'm looking for the number of craps that I give. And
oh my God.
I don't have 2 craps to give. Okay. Lots to get into today. Again, 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. My New Orleans Saints hoping to go undefeated. Dude, I thought the NFC South sucked. Isn't that what we said? Tampa Bay, they're going to suck because they have Baker Mayfield. They're undefeated at 2-0.
That's crazy, man.
The Atlanta Falcons were going to suck because they have Desmond Ridder at quarterback. They're 2-0. So the Saints have to win tonight to keep pace and be 2-0 as well. And if you take a look at the 2 losses that the NFC South would have, they were divisional games. So someone had to lose those games. Is the NFC South one of those teams? The Dallas Cowboys, are they for real or not? I have a poll on Twitter about this, and more than 250 people have already responded right now. I asked the question, are the Dallas Cowboys for real? You know, because I'm looking at it one of 2 ways. Either Dallas is really this good and Dak is legit, or the 2 teams that they played, the Jets and the Giants, both New York teams, they suck. Or are we all going to just hang on tight and wait for the San Fran game to come around and then make an assessment as to how good this team is? So let me ask you that, Joe.
Yeah.
Are they for real? Or are you going to wait till week 5 when they play San Fran?
You know what, man? This is the conversations that Cowboys fans have early on in the season. And we hear that all the time. It's being spun as storylines all over the media, especially on the 4-letter network.
Yeah.
You know, Screaming A. Smith on Mondays, making fun of the Cowboys, dissing them once again. The thing is, you got to pump your brakes, Cowboys fans. You have Dakota Rain Prescott, hasn't thrown 1 interception this season.
Are you saying he's due?
Hold my beer. Second, you know, we've been here before, man. The thing is, it's like, you know what? You can get excited about the regular season, but it doesn't matter until you get into that postseason. Regardless of what the Cowboys' record is, to me, they still haven't proved that they can win the big game when it matters.
Can I tell you something that is pretty interesting when you look at the standings right now? Dallas Cowboys opened the season with a 40-0 victory over the Giants at MetLife in New York. Come back, play the Jets. Again, no Aaron Rodgers. 30-10. I predicted 30-13. Remember when the spread came out and the spread was 8.5, 9 points, and I said, there is no way the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game by less than 15 points. I'm thinking it's going to be 17, 30-13. I almost nailed it, dude.
Yeah.
I almost nailed it to the dot. And had I gotten it on the dot, I would have been so annoying today.
Oh, man.
Okay, but look at this. The point differential that the Dallas Cowboys have is plus 60. 70 points scored, 10 points given up, plus 60. Just to give you an example, the San Francisco 49ers, who everyone thinks is the best team right now in the NFC, 2-0 as well. Differential of plus 30. The Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both undefeated, 2-0, NFC South, plus 15, plus 13. Green Bay Packers lead the NFC North, plus 17. The Eagles, okay, again, the Cowboys are plus 60 point differential. The Eagles and Commanders are both undefeated right now. Point differential of plus 11 and plus 6. I will say this about the Cowboys. I think the answer to this question, are they for real? Is it because the New York teams suck? Or should we wait till week 5? I think the answer is all 3. I did not give all of the above type of option there. I wanted somebody to pick, right? And as far as what people are saying right now, again, roughly 250 people have already responded to this morning. 44% saying that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are legit that good. 36% saying pump the brakes, going to wait till week 5 when they play the San Francisco 49ers, a team that knocked them out of the playoffs. And 20% said, well, the reason why the Cowboys are 2-0 and doing so well is because the teams from New York suck. But let's take a look at what's ahead. Cowboys are on the road against the Cardinals. That's going to be a home game, if you will, because when they historically play there in Phoenix, there are more Cowboy fans than Cardinal fans. This is kind of like when San Francisco plays the Rams in LA at SoFi. Yeah. More Niner fans out there. So that's going to be a 3-0. Then they're going to play the Patriots, who, if I'm not mistaken, are 0-2 right now. Cowboys will be 4-0. Book it.
Yeah.
They're going to be 4-0, more than likely taking on a 3-1 or 4-0 San Francisco 49ers team on October 8th. That's going to be exciting. It's going to be a late game, a 7:20 kickoff Sunday night. Looking forward to that. But let's talk about this Cowboys game from yesterday. Again, there was no Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson is in his second year. He did not have the first team reps. And when the game started, Dak Prescott looked amazing. Completed his first 13 passes, marched up and down the field. They went up early.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching the game, so it was a great first run by Dak to come out the gate swinging.
I mean, he looked amazing.
Yeah.
He looked amazing. But then ask yourself this question. Garrett Wilson gets that long touchdown in the second quarter. And then all of a sudden, the Cowboys are just up one score.
Yeah.
And then Wilson was wide open in the end zone, and DeMarcus Lawrence tapped the ball or tapped the arm of Zach Wilson on a throw. The ball was underthrown. That should have been a touchdown. Sauce Gardner, who is arguably the best cornerback in all of football, jumped a pass that should have been a pick six from Dak. Dak should have thrown a pick six.
Yeah.
So think about that whole situation going on in the second quarter. Cowboys up, 10-7, something to that effect? That pick six doesn't happen. Cowboys are able to punt the ball.
That's 2 scores that they didn't get.
And the Jets ended up getting this that touchdown that should have happened if DeMarcus Lawrence hadn't have had that clutch play where he deflects the ball.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because the Cowboys did kick the Jets' ass. And they should have. 30-10. They should have kicked their ass because they're that much better than the Jets. But the fact of the matter is that there were 2 plays away from being down a score in the second quarter. But the defense came up big, and Micah Parsons is the man out there, dude. Micah Parsons is wreaking havoc, just lining up wherever. What position does he play? He plays defense. Doesn't matter what position. Defensive line,
coming at you.
Defensive end, linebacker, rover, whatever you want to call it. He does it all.
I like the way that the Cowboys are playing their offensive line, too. They're doing some interesting things up front, man. And one of those things that they're learning to do is they're learning to push the stack. They're just going ahead and doing enough to kind of push things forward and have little holes open up here and there where you have Pollard running out.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because now they have more of a balanced attack where they have a decent enough run game and they can go ahead and throw the ball as well, and their defense is playing at a high level. The offensive line is holding it down, so altogether, just, you have all these things coming together at the right time for the Cowboys. And I get why Cowboys fans, including myself, you get a little excited. Is this our year? Are the Cowboys for real? You have this talk early on, Cowboys beyond, just amongst the fans. We're going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, I wouldn't say that just yet.
When the power rankings come out tomorrow,
yeah,
the Dallas Cowboys should be number 1. Should be. They've earned it. The point differential in itself should do it. And you mentioned something about the pace by which the Cowboys are playing. Look at yesterday. The Cowboys, 38 pass attempts, 44 rush attempts. Tony Pollard, 25 touches on the ground. Rico Dowdle, 7. Deuce Vaughn, 3. Dak ran it 6 times. Kevontae Turpin twice. Peyton Hendershot as well. It is a balanced attack. And who's the play caller? Mike McCarthy. And what is Mike McCarthy doing? He's making the game go faster. It's like, we're not going to allow the defense to make so many substitutions. Let's move the ball.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. Let's not get it down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds on the play clock.
Go.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's just go. And lots of people are reaching out to us talking about this, saying that they do like what's going on. Mike Baez saying, place your bets now. Micah Parsons MVP is currently at 100-1 odds.
He's playing great. Dude.
He's playing great. And again, back-to-back years where he was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. And here's the thing. That's not a diss towards Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Because the other players that beat him deserved it.
Yeah. Hey, man, quick shout out here.
Yeah.
Quick shout out, man. Randy Rogers is watching us live. He never gets to watch us live because he's always on the road working.
Yeah.
Hardworking, man. Shout out to you, Randy Rogers. He's one of the few, one of the fans that I saw at the SAFC game that came up, bought him a beer. Great people, man. And he listens to us avidly on Spotify while he's on the road working.
Very nice, man. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. Jonathan C. coming out and saying that Deuce Vaughn is a great compliment for Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard yesterday, just 72 yards on 25 attempts, but I like the fact that they kept feeding him the ball. And speaking of being fed the ball, my goodness, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is now officially a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
Bro, man.
I had him in the top 7. I had him 7. I would say he's probably 5 now.
He's having a great season because he wants to earn that check. I want that money.
13 targets, caught 11 of them, 143 yards, including a 31-yarder. Tony Pollard had 7 receptions for 37 yards. And there was a Jalen Tolbert sighting. Jalen Tolbert, third-round draft pick from last year, who only had 2 receptions all of last year because he was on the practice squad, and he did not do what needed to be done to make it onto the 53-man roster. Had 3 receptions yesterday, all in the first half for 16 yards. Rico Dowdle, 17-yard reception as well. I like Dowdle, dude. Dowdle's going to break free, man. There's going to be a game where we're going to have a Rico Dowdle game.
Look at what this is an interesting comment here by Jonathan C. Deuce Vaughn is a great compliment to Pollard. I agree.
He is. And it's I'm going to go back to Rico Dowdle because there needs to be a thunder and lightning type of thing going on. Deuce Vaughn is Tony Pollard part 2. Okay, it's a shifty, undersized guy. Now, Pollard's bigger, but Vaughn is small.
You need that battering ram.
You need the battering ram, which is where Rico Dowdle comes into play. Yeah. I liked Malik Davis. I wish the Cowboys had kept him because I thought he was a better guy for that, to get that 1 yard. That's the one thing that confuses me about the Cowboys is that come January and it's 4th and 1, 3rd and 1.5, and you need this. Are you really going to give the ball to Tony Pollard for that 1 yard?
Man, I don't know, dude. That's where Zeke was good at.
He was.
He had Zeke come in 1-2 yards. That was your guy.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Zeke Elliott. Those are the 3 guys. Yeah. If you need 1 yard, we'll get it. Now, if you need 6 yards, you go give the ball to Pollard.
Yeah.
But if you need 1 yard, Zeke was the guy to get it. It's funny seeing Zeke getting 4 to 6 carries a game for the New England Patriots, but it's going on right now. But the Cowboys, 30-10, they picked off Zach Wilson 3 times. Zach Wilson looked okay in the first half, but the wheels came off in the second. Breece Hall held to just 9 yards rushing. Dalvin Cook held to just 7. Think about that. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, who went off in week 1, held to just 16 yards combined. But that's part of the suffocating nature of this defense. You can talk about Micah Parsons all day long. But what is going on right now between Dan Quinn and head coach Mike McCarthy is special right now.
That's some special chemistry, man. And not only that, but Quinn, man, hats off to that brother. He's got that secondary playing at an amazing level right now.
And he's doing the job that he should be doing. And what I mean by that is that Dan Quinn is an elite defensive coordinator. And he has elite players. I mean, not only does he have Micah Parsons out there doing his thing, but Stephon Gilmore and, Vander Esch had 4 tackles yesterday. You take a look at all the sacks. Parsons with 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. It's amazing what's going on over there with Big D when it comes to their defense.
Yeah, I got to say one thing, though, man. When we're talking about the Cowboys defense, and they've been amazing, the one thing that we can't not forget is talking about the Cowboys in the red zone. Look at what happened with them this last game against the Jets. And they're not taking anything away from the Jets, even though the Cowboys did go ahead and win convincingly 30-10. It was a lot partly to do that the Cowboys offense was just controlling the game, and they were out there for so long, and they just wore down the Jets defense. Yeah. It happens, when you're controlling the time of possession. But the Jets defense held the Cowboys to field goals when they were in the red zone.
That is the one bugaboo as of right now. Yeah. But when you have a defense that's playing as well as the Cowboys are right now, you can get away with certain things. Earlier we were talking about the fact that DeMarcus Lawrence was able to affect a pass that Zach Wilson had when Garrett Wilson was wide open in the end zone. That was one big play, right?
Yeah.
You also had another situation going on where CeeDee Lamb, I don't know if you remember this, caught the ball for a long gain. I don't know, it was 20, 30 yards.
Yeah.
And then he fumbled it in front of 5 Jets. and Tyler Biadasz of the Cowboys recovered the fumble. Big man went 30 yards downfield and recovered the fumble. It's plays like that that separate good teams from great teams. And for Biadasz to have the presence of mind to keep following the ball, and just in case CD fumbled it, and he did in front of 5 Jets defenders, and Biadasz, Johnny on the spot, just jumping on top of the ball. And that is something right there that is coaching. That is McCarthy. That is the offensive line coach. That is everything going on where you say, do you really want to win this game or not? Are you going through the motions? Are you collecting a check? And Biadasz, just 25 years old, as a center, hikes the ball, and instead of just sitting on his fat ass, followed CD Lamb at his 4.5 running speed down the field, and boom, ball loose, gotcha.
Yeah, man. You know what I was going to say, too? I don't know if you watched, but did you pay attention to how Leighton Vander Esch was playing?
When he's healthy, he plays well.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, this wasn't one of his best games, and I'm not going to say he's a horrible player, but he missed a couple tackles there, man.
Yeah.
It's
crazy what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. They are for real, dude. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, and I know that you're the Cowboy fan and I'm not, but I told you from the get-go, there are 3 elite teams in the NFC right now, and the Cowboys happen to be one of them.
Yeah, I'm a realist, man, when it comes to Cowboys, given their history. I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon just yet. I think they're a very good team, but they have a tough schedule coming up. Yes, you're going to play the Cardinals. And again, the Cowboys notoriously in the past, they play down to their talent. This could be a trap game, just like the Jets game. You can't,
dude. You have 27 years of history.
I'm just saying the Cowboys can't make that mistake, and I hope that McCarthy has rectified that with them, where they can't make that mistake and play down to the talent. Don't take teams for granted. Just play hard, play your game, run your scheme every single week, and you give yourself a great chance to win, regardless of what the scoreboard might say. Even if you only win by 2 or 3, but you just got to put up a win. I just want them to continue being playing at a high level. Let's go ahead and be consistent. Let's try that. Let's be consistent this year.
Dude, the Cowboys have a massive spread for week 3.
Oh, I bet, man. You know what? I'm a gambler. I might bet against them.
The Cowboys favored by 12.5 points against the winless Arizona Cardinals. Again, they play at 3:25 on Sunday. Cowboys favored by 12.5. It's a 43.5 over/under. So that's basically saying that the Cowboys should win somewhere around the ballpark of 28-14, somewhere around there, 27-14. The Cowboys are going to roll in this game. They're going to be 3-0, and Cowboy fans are going to get super excited. But the thing about it is, and I guess where you're going with when it comes to all this is that it is a long season.
It is, man.
And there are going to be injuries. Someone's going to get hurt. Parsons might get hurt.
Man,
Dak might get hurt.
We got to talk about this too, man. One of these teams that's going to come up for the Cowboys, like always, are going to be the Commanders. And you can't talk about the Commanders unless you're talking about that amazing come-from-behind win that they had yesterday.
Yeah, Sam Howell, man. He brought that team back yesterday. So look at the NFC East right now. You have the Commanders at 2-0, but their point differential just +6. Okay, yeah. They're winning close games. Philadelphia 2-0, +11 on the season. The Giants came from behind yesterday. They were down big, came from behind, and are 1-1. So if you add up the NFC East right now, they are 7-1 collectively.
Not bad.
If you add it all up. The Commanders, it's interesting that we talk about 2-0 teams because historically you have a 62% chance, basically a 5-8 chance of being in the playoffs if you start 2-0. So in the NFC, the teams that have started 2-0 are the Niners, the Falcons, the Buccaneers. You've got the Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders. And on top of that, the Saints have a chance to go 2-0 later on tonight. That's a lot of teams at 2-0. You go on to the AFC, though. The AFC, the only 2-0 teams you got are the Dolphins and the Ravens, and that is it.
Yeah.
So think about that. 2 in the AFC, 7, potentially 8 in the NFC. Insane. Lots to get into today. Again, our YouTube chat line has been blowing up.
It's going up.
Oh,
man.
I know. It's been going crazy. Do we have any good comments so far? John reaches out and says that he believes that Dan Quinn will be a head coach someplace, somewhere next season. Mike McCarthy, though, you got to give Mike McCarthy credit. It's different. He mentioned about the old offensive coordinator, and he was saying back in the day that the Cowboys would get a lot of stats, but Kellen Moore was not calling the right plays. He was saying, yeah, Dak might throw for 350 or 400. Yeah, they may score 40 points, but it doesn't mean that it was a good game. Was the offense giving the defense enough time to rest? Were they calling the running plays at the right time? Just because you're getting yards, just because you're getting scores, doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it the correct way. And I thought that was kind of weird when Mike McCarthy said that. McCarthy was like, dude, you need to give the defense rest. You can't go 3 and out. And that's one thing the Cowboys did well yesterday was the time of possession.
Yeah.
The time of possession was huge yesterday. And of course, Micah Parsons was fresh. He wasn't on the field much. What was the time of possession yesterday? I mean, last I saw, it was in the third quarter. It was insane. But right now, if I'm looking at it right now, I bet you the Cowboys in a 60-minute game had time of possession for at least 60% of the time. Yeah. I'd say it was 36-24, easily 36-24.
They just kept extending their drives, too. They were converting big time on third downs, man.
So see how the defense is helping the offense, and the offense is helping the defense. The defense by keeping the opposing teams to low numbers and getting those takeaways, and then the offense for either A, scoring, or B, milking the clock in a way that was going to allow the defense to rest. And it's so interesting seeing what the Cowboys were able to do, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. There's no way they're going to lose to the Cardinals. No way.
No way, man.
And there's no way they're going to lose to the Pats either. They're going to be 4-0. And by the way, time of possession yesterday, good God, was 42-17.
Damn. That's
42-17. You have got to be out of your mind. I didn't even know it was that bad. You have got to be out of your mind. So 42.25 divided by 60. The Cowboys had the ball 70.4% of the time.
That was
70.4% of the time.
I'm telling you, man, they were just converting on those long third downs. So like nothing. It was no big deal. 3rd and 14. We got you. CeeDee Lamb. Boom. Money, man.
Dak Prescott, though. We've given Dan Quinn love. We've given Tony Pollard love. CeeDee Lamb some love. We've given Mike McCarthy. We've given the tempo. We've given Leighton Vander Esch.
The Cowboys right now, in the couple of games that they've played so far, they've been a fun team to watch.
But look at Dak Prescott. 2 games. Again, not a lot of yards.
No.
398 yards in 2 games. I mean, that's less than 200 per game.
Well, you got the defense on the field most of the time doing their thing.
But, he's somebody who has 2 touchdowns thrown, no interceptions, and that's the thing. He is going out there and managing the game. And I think that Dak Prescott could be a phenomenal game manager.
The one thing that I hate, man, that I can't stand with Dak Prescott right now is I don't like him running, dude, and throwing the ball at the same time. We saw that that almost turned into at least 1 or 2 picks. It could have been 1 or 2 picks. Thankfully enough, it was not. But still, when you're going up against a team who's better defensively than the Jets, that might be coming back the other way.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, he doesn't have any thrown interceptions yet.
Well,
hold my beer.
Because Sauce Gardner could have had one, right?
That would have been, if he would have caught that, he would have had that interception. It was coming back because there was nobody there.
It's a different game.
Yeah.
It's a different game. By the way, as I mentioned, Dak Prescott, 398 yards passing in 2 games. Last night, or yesterday rather, CJ Stroud in his second game with the Houston Texans, 384 yards.
Boy went off.
30 for 47, 384, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The guy was sacked 6 times, though. He was sacked 6 times. Nico Collins, 146 yards and a touchdown receiving for the Houston Texans, but the Texans lost to the Indianapolis Colts, 31-20. The Texans now 0-2 on the season. Anthony Richardson got hurt in the game. Gardner Minshew, that's a good backup right there.
Yeah.
That, you're talking about the Jets. People saying the Jets should go after a Jameis Winston or somebody that's a good backup. Jameis Winston, dude, he likes to sling the ball, dude.
I'm sure
He's
still
fearless. He's fearless.
There's fans that still got their jersey. I'm confident they do. They got in the closet, hidden in the back somewhere.
That is fantastic, man. But the Houston Texans 0-2. It's going to be a long season. But you see what's going on with D'Amico Ryans, head coach over there. You see that the culture is changing. They're on the road next weekend, taking on Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got the Steelers and the Falcons and the Saints after that. Here's the thing about it, man. Talking about the Jaguars. The Jaguars yesterday played the ugliest game of the week against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs went out and won. Happy birthday to Patrick Mahomes. Turned 27. It was 17-9. I watched that game hoping to see some offensive fireworks, and it wasn't that the defenses were playing so great. It's that offensively both teams suck.
Yeah.
And is it weird? Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs the past few years, no longer there. The offensive talent, the wide receivers that the Chiefs had, not as good as in years past. That team is struggling. That team is struggling right now.
They're almost looking like a normal team.
Yeah, and I think people think that they're just going to turn it on, and maybe they can down the way. But you don't look at the Chiefs right now and think, "Wow, that's an elite team."
Yeah, right now, because it's early in the season, I still think that they're trying to figure some things out. They're trying to figure some things out. While I think they can get better and they will play better, I think the road to the Super Bowl for them is going to be it's going to be real tough, man.
Look at these 0-2 teams. The New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, 0-2. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow, 0-2. And then you've got the Chargers. Again, new offensive coordinator. I get it. They're 0-2. Lost both of their games by combined 5 points. Justin Herbert putting up numbers. Kellen Moore putting up numbers. But again, 0-2. And then the Denver Broncos blew that game yesterday. Also 0-2. Sean Payton. You know what? I know you led my Saints to a Super Bowl 15 years ago, but bite me. You're dead to me right now.
Look at this, man. This is funny to me. You had the Broncos winning in commanding fashion. They had control of the game. But then you come out in that second half, and you have the Commanders putting up 7 points, holding the Denver Broncos to 3, started changing things a little bit. But that fourth quarter, man, 14-9. They outscored the Broncos 14-9. I mean, you got to give credit to the Commanders, bro. 2-0.
The Commanders, dude. I mean, it's early, but you know what? It's picking up these W's that you're not supposed to get. Randy Rogers reached out and saying, mostly accurate my take about the Chiefs-Jags game, but Chris Jones was a wrecking ship, and the dude deserved his money. He held out. He got that money, man. It's funny because the Cowboys right now, sitting at 2-0, are a wrecking crew right now. Fact of the matter is that it's just 2 wins. They picked up the wins that they need to make the playoffs. They picked up the wins that they need to keep pace with the Eagles and the Niners in the NFC.
Look at Frank. He says Chase Young and Sweet were all over Wilson in the second half.
Sweat, yeah, they were all over. Yeah. Real fast, though, of the 0-2 teams, the one team that I think to myself, you know what? They can get their crap together and actually make a run. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
Really?
Because Kirk Cousins is playing very well this year.
But
it's just so many turnovers.
That's Big Boppy's team right there, Brandon Medina.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, man, that guy is just legit right now. He's playing so well, but they're just fumbling the ball like crazy. 4 fumbles this past week that led to turnovers.
Oh, man, Carolina's team. The Bears are going to be playing the Chiefs on the 24th.
The Bears are the worst team in the NFL.
Pour some out for the Bears, man, and their fans.
The Bears suck. And I like what Carolina said after week 1, that it was their PR team that made people believe that they were going to be good.
Broke her
That
heart.
team sucks. Chris Leha reaches out and says Kirk Cousins is great only in fantasy football. Makes sense to me. Chris Leha of the Rock Hard MCS General Contracting. Give some love to MCS General Contracting because what does he call it? Diamond hard?
The diamond hard. They have the hardest concrete in the business. So hard, it's diamond hard.
That's what I'm talking about right there. You need a pool? You can reach out to our guys at MCS General Contracting. Do you need a driveway extension? Do you need a parking lot for your business, a slab for your business, or for your home? Reach out to MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155. Again, 210-774-9155. Those ramps that are needed. Cooler weather, it's a good thing for them, man. They wear long sleeves all day long.
I know it.
Absolutely brutal, but the weather's been nice. And speaking of the weather being nice, let's talk about this past weekend. You were over at the SAFC match this past weekend doing the tailgates.
I was, man.
We got some T-shirts that we got to show off.
Yeah, let's show the shirts. I'm going to go ahead and take myself off screen so you can go ahead and show the shirts and the little swag that was given out there at the game, man. So it was Hispanic Heritage Night at the game. So this is what was given to fans as they were entering the stadium. They gave out T-shirts celebrating Hispanic Heritage Night, which is nice, man.
Got the Spurs Fiesta colors in there.
And shout out to my boys at the 210 Alliance. They gifted me this really nice Fiesta-themed jersey sponsored by Craft Cruisers. So it was nice, man. I liked it. I was like, I like that jersey. I'll probably be sporting that out there.
Oh, it's wonderful, dude. This looks great, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend in Austin. So I have 3 college football games that I'm going to in 8 days, 2 down, 1 to go. I went to the UTSA Army game on Friday night. It was nationally televised on ESPN. Then I went to the UT game against Wyoming there at Darrell K, DKR. And let me go ahead and get a couple of things out. UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor apologizing yesterday and today for his comments after the game where he basically insinuated that it was an embarrassment of what that team did as Army just ran up and down the field. The UTSA defense couldn't stop anybody. Frank Harris did not play. The backup quarterback was fine enough. The backup quarterback does not have the greatest of arms, but actually makes pretty good decisions out there. So I wasn't going to hate on him. Thought he played well. Had a desperation throw into the end zone for a touchdown to end the first half that actually was completed. Made it a game. But UTSA at no point were in position to make a run. Even when they got it down to 1 score, it wasn't going to happen. Army was just running up and down the field. And head coach Jeff Traylor basically saying there's got to be an easier way for me to make money. He just did not want to be there. And this was nationally televised, 6 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. Dude, because Army ran the ball and had these long, sustained drives, the first quarter took 35 minutes.
I do not doubt that. Remember, I talked to you, too, before we had this. We went live, right? And I said, the one thing about Army is that they run a very unique offense. Mm-hmm. And that has always given UTSA fits. Always. It's
what Nebraska used to run in the 90s. It's what Air Force runs now. It's the triple option.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, just knock the quarterback's head off. Just knock his head off, because if he's pretending that he has the ball, you have the right to hit him.
Yeah.
You have the right to hit him. Speaking of being hit, dude, that hit that guy got from Colorado, that dirty hit, the guy that I forgot his name off the top of my head, but was considered to be a Heisman candidate for Colorado. Oh my goodness. Not the quarterback, not Sanders. But anyway, the receiver. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. That guy from Colorado State, he's going to be suspended.
No doubt.
Got to be, because he did something similar, if I'm not mistaken, the last week.
And that's the thing, man. Like,
he's a headhunter.
Yeah, no matter how much you despise the other team, you don't ever want to go out there and maliciously go and try to deliver a hit like that and ruin somebody's career.
Right. Okay. So I don't know if you saw this, but Colorado was favored to win by 23.5 points. Fell behind, came back in the fourth quarter, won in overtime, stormed the field. And there was a journalist who asked the question on Twitter, because so many people were there. You had ESPN, FS1 was there. Dude, 60 Minutes from CBS was over there in Colorado for this game. The Buffaloes favored by 3 touchdowns and a field goal, barely won in overtime, and they stormed the field. And you had these journalists asking the question, should you be storming the field if you're a 23-point favorite and you barely win? And Deion Sanders' son,
Shakur.
not Shakur, the younger one.
Okay, Junior.
Yeah, just called the journalist a hoe, a pure hoe.
I love it.
I got to
dude.
see who that
I
was
freaking
real
love
fast. I have it right here. But he called him a pure hoe. And I thought to myself, dude, that is like one of the greatest responses ever. Deion Sanders Jr. called him that. It was Danny Cannell, who I know was with ESPN for quite some time. Now it's Sirius. Danny Cannell, former NFL quarterback, asking the question. He put a poll out there. 165,000 people voted. Should you storm the field after a win in overtime if you were a 24-point favorite? 56% said yes. 56% people were wrong, by the way. Okay, so I went to the UT game. Got flagged down by 4 people about my UTSA takes.
Let me have you get all the real estate for this one.
Some for and some against. Okay.
Oh my God,
dude,
man.
one of the guys that I talked with, I was filming a singer perform because you go to 6th Street, right? So the game didn't start till 6 o'clock. I was on 6th Street by 3 p.m. Got some lunch, had some drinks, and there was this guy that was singing 90s music, and I thought he was doing a pretty good job. So I tipped him $5, and I said, "Hey, can you sing something from STP?" So he goes, "Yeah, I got you in about 5 or 10 minutes." So 10 minutes later, he plays "Creep" acoustically. Love that song. And so I'm videotaping him, and then I'm videotaping kind of like a shot of the bar. But then I realized that people didn't give me permission to videotape them, so I kind of stopped it.
Yeah.
And this guy comes up to me and goes, "Dude, I was going to do hook 'em horns onto your camera." And I was like, "Yeah, I felt weird because I was filming the bar and I didn't ask for permission, so
Yeah.
I was going to stop it." And he comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, no big deal, dude. I was going to give you a hook 'em horns, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "No problem." And then he looks at me and he goes, "I recognize your voice." He goes, "Were you ever on the radio?"
Oh,
and I was like,
man.
"Yeah." He goes, "I'm from San Antonio." He goes, "I've never seen you before. I didn't know what you look like, but I used to listen to your old show." And then he goes on to say, "The Jim Rome show sucks." And I was like, "Well, thank you for that." But it was funny. He recognized me by my voice. But other people, because if you go to DKR and you're going to the UT game, they have pop-up tents all around where you can get a beer for $4. That same beer inside the stadium is like $8 or $9.
Oh yeah.
So we just start piling, just downing beers,
pre-gaming,
right?
Yeah.
And so I had a couple of beers, and people were coming up to me going, had 4 people come up to me and go, "Dude, your take on UTSA football was wrong." Or others coming out and saying, "Your take on UTSA football was spot on. It's brutally honest, but it's true."
Look at Daniel Castro.
Is it crap takes? Is that what that says? Yeah. I can't see that screen from so far away. John C. reaches out and says $9.50 from Modelo and DKR. It's also $4.50 outside. So that's the thing. But no, I had people who've reached out to me, and it's interesting because I tweeted out there, "Hey, look at this, an outdoor stadium on campus. Go figure. What a concept." It's so much fun. There was this young woman who kind of came at me on Twitter this past weekend, and people were like, "Oh, she's roasting you, Jimenez." What was I going to do? Go after a 22, 23-year-old woman who's a UTSA fan? No, I'm going to pick and choose my battles. That is not a battle worth fighting, and I like the fact that she came at me. I really do. But I'm not going to start talking trash to her. Well, what's the honor in that? But one of the lines I did tell her, though, was, she was saying, "Oh, you said the 49,000 at the Alamo Dome weren't loud." They weren't. The UTSA crowd is not very good. But I will say this, though. This past Friday's game against Army, half the crowd. I don't know how many people were there. I got to look that up. There's a UTSA Army attendance, right? I bet you it was half. 27,000, right?
Yeah.
So a
Hey, man,
little bit more than half.
give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, a little bit more than half. 27,000 people showed up there at the Alamo Dome on Friday night. It was louder with that 27,000 than it was with the 49,000 who showed up for the UTSA Texas State game. And you know why? It's because the diehards showed up for that game. The diehards were there on a Friday night game for a 6 p.m. kickoff who were tailgating at 3 p.m. The 49,000 who showed up the week before to take on Texas State, the 49,000 that were there was a bunch of Theos and Theas out there with their kids, and they don't care about UTSA football. It was just going out for the night. It was a cheap ticket to go do something. But the diehards that were there for the Army game, as brutal as it was to watch UTSA lose that game by 8 points, those 27,000 were pretty loud for the numbers that were there. They were. The 49,000 who showed up the weekend before, not so loud at all.
Look at Jonathan C's comment.
John C., I was at the UTSA game this past Friday. I was the only one on my feet on third down making noise. Ridiculous. And that's the thing. When I was at DKR for the UT game against Wyoming, when I was there, the interesting thing about that was everybody there knew their role. They knew when to stand up and cheer, when to boo. They knew instinctively what to do. A lot of the crowd at the Alamo Dome, probably 80% of it, and I'm not talking about the student center, the student section. Student section's fine. And that young woman who came at me on Twitter, the photos she showed me of where she was in the student center, the student section rather.
Yeah.
That's a different animal. The student section, because it's all testosteroned out, is a very, very loud and boisterous place. I'm talking about the 90% of the rest of the Alamo Dome. It's awful. In the Army game where I was at 15-yard line, they were better. They were better. But you're never going to have a football experience or a football environment if you are indoors. Think about this when it comes to football, whether it's NFL or whether it is NCAA, college football. Close your eyes. Ask yourself the question, when you think of the greatest places to watch a game, are they indoors or are they outdoors? Because when I close my eyes and I think about the great places to watch a football game, they're all outdoors. They're all outdoors. I think about, I'm going to Death Valley for LSU this weekend as they take on Arkansas. Penn State is an outdoor facility. How about when UT plays OU at the Cotton Bowl? That's a big deal. No one's saying Jerry World. No one's saying Superdome in New Orleans. I think about Gillette Stadium with the New England Patriots, Soldier Field, Lambeau. What gives those games character and why those fans are so passionate is because they are out in the elements, and sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's windy. And you have all these UTSA fans who are like, I'll take my 72 degrees all day, 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Well, congratulations. You like shitty football. Not what's on the field, the environment. The environment's different, man. Outdoors to indoors. Dude, I love going and being chilly on the stands and drinking hot chocolate.
Look at Jonathan C. Look what he says.
Mike, how did you feel when Texas fans started to chant F Wyoming? I thought it was a bit much. I didn't hear that part. It was a close game. UT was down late in the game, but blew them out in the fourth quarter. It was a fun time.
I like this right here. I like Redbird's Junkie. He goes, hey, Joe, do you still have the screenshot saved when I said the boys weren't losing that game? Or did you lose your receipt? I didn't lose my receipt. But you know what, man? Keep that same energy because it's a long season.
So the young lady who came at me on Twitter, I said, and this is what she got offended by, and I dropped it at this point. I said something to the effect of, you're not going to have a college football experience if the atmosphere is the same atmosphere you get at a movie at a Santikos theater. 72 degrees, indoors. I feel comfortable. It sucks, dude. And then you add the fact that the Alamo Dome is a cavernous, ugly looking building. I like the ugliness on the outside. Like, really, the outside, the exterior, everyone's like, that's the ugliest looking building of all time. I'm like, you know what? It's so ugly that I think it's attractive. I like it. Just put up some lights, LEDs, you'll be fine. The inside, good God, that's an awful stadium. It's an awful stadium. The only good thing about that game against Army was that I almost caught that HEB gift card that was flying down because the guy behind me was the one who caught it. You know, they put him in little parachutes.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, here it comes. Here it comes.
It's probably like $5.
It sailed off behind me. The guy right behind me caught it. Goodness. Let's take a look at the college football rankings because
the latest AP poll.
I saw on Sunday morning, I saw the rankings were coming out, and one of the voters that I follow put UT at number 1. I'm like, well, they're going to get at least one first place vote, and in fact, they got 3. Texas Longhorns coming in at number 3, moving up from 4 to 3. Georgia remains at number 1 with 57 of the 63 first place votes. Michigan only has 2 first place votes, but is at number 2. Number 3, you've got the Texas Longhorns, who struggled against Wyoming for 3 quarters, but blew them out in the 4th. Florida State is at 4th. USC at number 5. Rounding out the top 10, you've got Ohio State, Penn State, Washington, Notre Dame, and then Oregon. Alabama struggled again.
They dropped 3 places, dude.
They dropped from 10 to 13. They struggled. They were losing for a while there, 3-0 to South Florida. South Florida, they beat South Florida 17-3. It's like, oh, well, that sounds like they beat them by a lot. No, that last touchdown was at the last minute of the game, and there was a rain delay. I wonder if South Florida, because South Florida had momentum and was actually driving when the rain delay happened, what would have happened if they kept their foot on the gas?
Yeah.
But my LSU Tigers at number 12, moving up 2 spots. Other teams in there, Duke at 18. Colorado. Again, Colorado undefeated, but they dropped 1 spot. Again, they were 23-point favorites. They barely won. They dropped a spot. Miami. What year is this, man? Miami's 3-0. And then you've got the Tennessee Volunteers at number 23, dropping 12 spots. Tennessee Volunteers hosting your UTSA Roadrunners this weekend, and the Roadrunners are favored to lose by 4 touchdowns.
Damn, that's a lot, dude.
That is a lot, and you know what? I might take Tennessee in that one.
Surprisingly enough,
I might take Tennessee in that one.
How can Colorado drop a spot, man?
It's because they played a shitty team and they barely won.
But it was a good game. You know, I get it was a good game, you know, and all that. And then, yeah, they played a bad team and they barely won, but
they were down by 2 scores in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. Shakur did a great job, man.
I mean, you want to give them props for pulling out the victory, but they shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. I mean, look at Alabama dropping 3 spots. By the way, I lied. It wasn't 4 touchdowns. They're favored to lose by 3 touchdowns, 20.5 points. Again, the kickoff's going to be 3 p.m. from Knoxville, Tennessee on Saturday. Trying to get people to go with me to the UTSA game that's going to be in Philadelphia in October. They're playing Temple. And one of the companies that I work for, I'm self-employed. I have my own business. But one of my primary vendors, if you will, is based in Philadelphia. And it's a Lincoln Financial. And that stadium is Lincoln Financial Field, which is where the Eagles play. But they repaint it for the crimson color of Temple, the Temple Owls. And I'm going to try to get a hookup over there. That's when I was there last year drinking in Jalen Hurts' locker.
Yeah.
Okay, it's because I have access to Lincoln Financial Group.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. I'm going to try to figure that one out. We're going till about another 20 minutes or so. And thank you for those of you who are listening in the future, listening on the podcast, whether it be on Spotify or whatnot. Let's give some love to Cynthia J. Sanchez of J-Par Real Estate. I was talking to her this morning. Cynthia J. Sanchez, J-Par Real Estate, 210-273-0748. She was trying to iron out the final details of a $1 million home that she's selling out in Bulverde. Nice. And she's doing a really good job out there. Cynthia J. Sanchez has been in real estate as a realtor for 16 years. She does a fantastic job. Go to realtor.com, look her up, and you're going to see that people give her 5 stars across the board. She is someone who has worked at USAA for many years prior to becoming a realtor. And because of her experience at USAA, she knows what she's looking for when getting a home, a pre-owned home. If you're trying to buy a new home, she can get you one that has a really, really good interest rate, because right now banks are offering 7.5%, 8%. New builds, 4%, 5%. She can make it happen. Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. Does a fantastic job and is my personal realtor. She found me my home. Let's also give some love to Serenity Manor.
Yeah,
this weekend on Thursday is going to have karaoke night over there. Serenity Manor, located at 14405 Old Bandera Road in Helotes, Texas. It's a social events venue, and this is a beautiful place, especially this time of year where the temperatures are finally going down to the 80s and 90s as high temperatures, because it's an indoor-outdoor venue for those of you who want to have, family reunions or Sweet 16s, company parties, company Christmas parties, quinceañeras, gender reveals, all of those different things. And they have a bar inside that serves beer, wine, and margaritas. And their caddy corner to Flores Country Store. After a concert, just make your way over there, grab a beer, grab a margarita. They do a lot of different events in there, from vendor days and things like that. Go onto their website to check it out. It's called Serenity Manor on Old Bandera Road in Helotes, Texas. Zip code is 78023. It's a beautiful business out there. It's a beautiful building that's over 100 years old, very historic. You can have your family events there, your corporate events there. Go check them out. Again, karaoke night from 6 to 10:30 this week, Thursday. It's family friendly, by the way, over there. So they do a very, very good job. So, Joe, we've talked about a lot today.
We have
Deion Sanders pissing off a lot of people, his sunglasses and all. It's a big story, man. I like what Deion Sanders is doing out there. I think it's important for him to do well, for an African-American coach to do well in the Power 5. And there are a lot of people who just roll their eyes and they glaze over. But believe it or not, there's still a lot of people out there who get pissed off that there's black coaches. There is still that attitude. One thing I will say is that our country, whether you're Democrat or Republican, is run by old people. And if you look at sports right now is run by old people. It's facts. And there's this mentality sometimes when it comes to sports, and they don't like Deion Sanders. Colorado State's coach was coming out saying that he doesn't like the fact that Deion is wearing sunglasses while doing an interview. Why do you give a shit? Why do you care so much?
You know why he cares? Because his school is not getting near enough attention as Deion Sanders' school.
That is true. And what's Deion Sanders doing? Racking up W's.
Yeah, Colorado University versus Colorado State. It was a primetime game, delivered on all facets. It was very entertaining to watch. But, at the end of the day, I wanted to go and see what was going to happen when the coaches came midfield for the celebratory handshake.
Yeah.
There was no love lost there. It was just like, yeah, bro, good game. Get out of here.
Yeah, Colorado Buffaloes football star Travis Hunter is going to be out the next few weeks. He sustained an injury.
Lacerated liver, man.
Dude, that guy headhunted. The guy that hit him, complete puss, dude. Complete puss. That ball was incomplete and had already landed out of bounds.
He was already out of bounds.
And the guy launched himself into him. That guy, who, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't want to get too far into it, but apparently that guy, Colorado State safety Henry Blackburn, actually has a checkered pass. And it's just one of those things where, this has implications on there, because not only did he do this game, he did it the last game to another player. Yeah. So these cheap shots that he's handing out, and they've got to do something. And apparently he has some sort of rap sheet. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to, get too far into it without investigating it further. But the guy's a dick.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Just is what it is.
What was the name of that one NFL player that was always doing stuff like that? Cheap shots all the time. He's the one that hit
Hines Ward. He's the head coach of the San Antonio XFL team. That guy. How many people did that guy injure?
Yeah, but it was.
Do you know what he would do? Whenever there'd be an interception, he would go cheap shot one of the defensive players who was not even part of the play.
Yeah.
Hines Ward was one of the dirtiest players of the NFL of the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. No, but there were other players who were dirty and like that. It just sucks, dude. I mean, there's one thing to hit somebody hard. It's another thing to kind of just go off and just launch yourself into people.
Yeah, it was a Colt McCoy. When Colt McCoy was the quarterback of UT, he got knocked out right away because there was some guy that hit him on the shoulder and injured his shoulder.
Yeah.
During the championship game. I forgot his name. He plays for the NFL now, or he did. But I forgot his name, but he was a dirty player as well.
Yeah, there's an interception, and they go, well, technically you can go tackle him, so we're just going to take you out. Want to do some entertainment news?
Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and do some entertainment news, man. I didn't pull up the video today. Not today, man.
All right, let's get it.
There it is.
Let's hear it. I just like the music. I just like it.
Okay, let me go ahead and get it. Let me get the music. Come on. This always takes a little bit of time to pull up here. Turn that off. All right, now we can do it. All right, let me go and look for it.
Let me just get into it a little bit.
Let me look for it. No, I'm going to do it.
We've come this far is what you're saying.
We've come this far. We're going to play here it is.
There you go. Well, there's a country music singer who might have canceled herself. So we were talking last week about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and how they basically canceled themselves when it came to the whole Danny Masterson situation, when they wrote those letters in support of a convicted rapist who happened to be their friend. By the way, Kunis and Kutcher have resigned from the board that they were on.
Jeez, they got forced out, more like it.
Well, probably so.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher was chairman of the board of an organization that protected young girls from sex trafficking. And then he goes and writes this letter on behalf of a friend who's a convicted rapist for multiple people, by the way. And he has since stepped down. Okay, so that was a self-canceling.
Yeah.
Found it interesting that this morning that singer Maren Morris, I mean, she's a legit country star, has said that she no longer considers herself a country artist and that she's leaving country music for good.
So what you gonna do? Devil in the world of pop, or?
Yeah, I guess she's gonna go do the pop star thing because Maren Morris, she's talented, dude. I mean, I'm
no
not
doubt, no doubt.
She's talented. She's very popular. She has tons of fans. She's only 32 years old.
She's still young.
Very attractive young lady. She's known for having elements of pop, R&B, and hip hop in her country music, so it's not like it's foreign to her.
Yeah, it's not going to be a hard transition.
But she says that it's been toxic when it comes to country music, and she says she's tired of the country music scene because she says that politically and personally, she does not identify with people who follow the music and the people who are producing the music and are distributing the music, because she says that it's toxic, because she says, this is not me, this is Maren Morris, who's been a country star for a decade. She says that it's homophobic, transphobic, and racist. And Maren Morris is saying she's done with country music because she believes that that is actually part of country music these days. She's not saying the country music of the past. She's not talking about George Strait. She's not talking about Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire and Alan Jackson and all those guys. She's talking about what is coming out these days.
Yeah.
And she references some of the songs that have been coming out these days that she says have been very popular with conservatives. And she's talking about songs that...
there you go. There's a picture of her right there.
Yeah. But what's that one song, the Try This in a Small Town or whatnot? She's talking about songs like that and saying that and the support that people are giving and the reason behind that support, she's done with it. So I wonder what kind of success level she's going to have in pop music. I wonder if her record label is supportive of her when it comes to this. So, Maren Morris, you do you, girl. You do you. Speaking of doing you, that congresswoman from Colorado.
Oh my God. We can get into that. Let me.
Oh my God. Lauren Boebert. Okay. I'm going to say this. Lauren Boebert is somebody that I do not identify with politically. And I'm not going to be one who casts the first stone.
Well, you know, they did a meme of you.
Oh, really?
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it. Dude, I didn't see much this weekend when it
Oh
comes
my
to
God,
it.
dude. The fans that we have were on one on the weekend, dude. They had me rolling. I was laughing. They did they did you dirty with that one, man. That one was the best of the week.
Well, you called this up, by the way. Joshua Jimenez, no relation, saying Maren Morris doing the Taylor Swift route. You know, Taylor Swift is somebody who has started off in country, went off into pop. She is now the biggest musician in the United States right now, right? And she has been for the better part of a decade. She's also somebody that politically is pretty liberal.
Yeah.
And she has basically shied away from conservative politics. And if Maren Morris is doing that, I guess so. But Lauren Boebert, out of Colorado, you know, she tells people that she is super conservative and family values and all that stuff. And she got thrown out of a performance of Beetlejuice that was taking place in Denver, right? So picture going to the Majestic Theater, right? It's a nice theater. And she's sitting on an aisle with a new boyfriend who, by the way, she's still married, by the way. She's separated, but she's, I guess, dating this one guy.
Oh, she's doing more than dating that brother.
Yeah. And she gets kicked out. And it turns out she got kicked out because they said that a pregnant woman who was sitting behind her had been complaining that she was vaping. Who the hell vapes at a Majestic Theater type of place?
Well, she was doing vaping and a little more than that.
Okay, so let me just kind of tell the whole story, though, because she says, I didn't vape. I didn't do that. And then video comes out of her vaping. We don't know what she's vaping. It's Colorado. Was she vaping pot? Was she vaping, you know, something that is, you know, hallucinogenic, or was it something else, right? Was it just...
Got the video. Sure enough, we got the video.
So then they released the rest of the video. And they're like, we have video of you, girl. You are
A little rub and tug action here, bro.
you are vaping. And then the video goes on to show that she and her boyfriend are feeling each other up hardcore.
She put his hand on her, dude. Like,
dude, he honked both Hooters. And she's grabbing his crotch in the middle of a Beetlejuice performance in front of kids.
Hey, man, maybe Beetlejuice does it for her, man.
Beetlejuice. Oh, dude, got to put that video back up, dude.
You want to see it again?
You know, I don't even want to be on the screen. We got to just go full screen on this. Crazy Hot Matrix. She is the 10 and 10 on that Matrix.
Man, but that's the thing with the crazy ones, dude. They're crazy because they do bad things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Can't believe we went into that. Can't believe we went into that.
Man. I was like, I knew you were going to go into that because your horny meter is always at 1,000 all the time. It's at 1,000.
Dude, even I was appalled at that, dude.
I was like, and they showed the full video. You can go and check it out on social media. But they show her clearly going into the the little theater there or whatever, and she's just vaping in front, and the lady behind her.
But why lie? You're on video.
I know, and the thing is that the lady behind her did go up to her and tell her if she could stop, and she just like took another puff, as like blowing it around, like she didn't.
And then
care.
she pulled the "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
And the thing about that though is that she is, she's supposed to be a role model. You know what I'm saying? And to lie saying, well, I wasn't vaping. Oh, I was vaping. I forgot that I was vaping. And then later on for the video to come out to see that she's getting to third base with some dude. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It's National Cheeseburger Day, by the way. National Cheeseburger Day. That means that I'm going to have to hit up Burger Boy.
Hey, right up the street, man. Burger Boy's undefeated, man. They got a good burger. That Working Man's my favorite.
Working Man's great, dude. That's a good one. Longhorn Cafe got a good burger.
Best burger that you've had at a Mexican restaurant. Name the restaurant.
Wow, the Mexican restaurant, dude. I had one the other day over at Laguna Madre, which is not a Mexican restaurant. The Bill Miller's
burger was fire.
Dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. I enjoy Lupita's. They have their Mexican burger, which is full of grease. That one's pretty good. Diana's is pretty good, but it's not a Mexican restaurant, though. They do have some Mexican food there.
Yeah. There's like a Jalisco that's right around the corner from us, right here off of Petranco.
Yeah.
Going down Petranco, like you're going towards Culebra, and it's right there, right before you hit the Valero. I forgot the name of it. It's right off to the left side. It's like a Taqueria de Jalisco number, whatever. But man, their burgers there are on point, and you wash that down with the Coca Mexicana, dude. That's puro, man.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go, I will address this. Was it Chris Leha saying I went into hiding this week?
there it is.
Okay, someone who will be named nameless on Twitter has been trying to come at me, right? And don't get me wrong, I love sparring with people on Twitter, especially if I piss somebody off, right? But there's somebody who's trying to bait me into some sort of like Twitter beef or Twitter war. And then I looked at it, and that person, I have 2,500 followers on Twitter, right? 2,500. And I feel fortunate that I do have 2,500. That's a lot of hard work from being on the radio, doing a podcast, and yada, yada. And exposure from people like Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five and all that stuff. That's where that comes from. Somebody came after me who has 2,000 more followers than me. And then I looked, and every post that this person does has either 0 comments or 1 comment. Has either 1 like, no likes, or 2 likes. And it's somebody that I don't even know who the hell it is.
Oh,
so
man.
How can I have a beef with somebody that I don't know who it is? Like, I legitimately don't know who this person is. I've heard of the name. I sometimes see him comment on something on Twitter. I have no idea who the heck he is. So I wouldn't even know how to have beef with this. But it reminded me of the TV show Mad Men.
Yeah.
And this is where I put a meme about it. I don't know if you've ever watched Mad Men.
I watched a couple episodes.
Don Draper's the man.
Yeah.
Right? He don't give 2 shits. And there was a guy that goes up to him who's a young person at his building who doesn't like Don Draper.
Yeah.
And he says something to the effect of, I feel bad for you. And Don Draper, without missing a beat, says, I don't even think about you at all. And it was such a great comeback because A, it was funny, and B, it demoralized the guy that was coming at him. I don't think about that guy at all. I don't even know who he is. Why would I punch down? Why would
Man.
why okay, dude, if this was and this is somebody that I've met recently and has been good with me, like Don Harris, for example, or if it was Jeff Garcia, or if it was somebody that was at a certain level where it's okay to go kind of toe to toe with them a little bit.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody that I've never heard of, and if you go through this person's feed, you see nothing there, then what they're trying to do is they're trying to use me as a platform. Because though they may have 2,000 more followers, they know I have more eyes. So it is in their best interest for them to come after me. And I did not even say anything to that guy. Now, I did respond a couple of times, but he came after me, and then he tried coming after me personally and was insinuating certain things. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I've never met him. He doesn't know who I am. So why get into a Twitter beef with somebody who, A, obviously is trying to use you for leverage on something, and B, the way you diffuse that is by not giving them the oxygen that they want to go. They're trying to use me. They don't care about me. They don't like or dislike me. I'm an ends to a mean for them. That guy's trying to promote something. He's trying to promote himself. He's hoping that a Twitter beef will get things going for him. And it's sad to say for him that I'm not going to go in there because I'm not going to punch down. I'm not going to punch down.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, man. I know this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I've known him, and I've been a fan of his.
I have no idea what he does.
I will say his name because
no,
I like.
No, let's not.
I'm going to do this. I like him.
Okay.
You know, I'm a fan of the guy. I followed him when he was a DJ way back when on 99.5.
Oh, he's a 99.5 guy?
Yeah, and I'm always a fan of him. He's always a great guy when it comes to like being, you know, like going ahead and exposing like local bands and all that they have in here, you know, around San Antonio, getting the word out and whatnot. I mean, I like the dude. You know, I've known him who he is. You know, I've even invited him on Two Shots podcast once or twice, you know, but we just scheduling didn't, you know, happen to where he could go ahead and come out. But I'd still extend him an invite to come out and talk Spurs, you know. I mean, I like the guy. I mean, and this is the way I see both sides. You know, sometimes when you say things to people, they take it a certain way and they can find that the comment or the thing that you said is very condescending and it gets them in a certain, you know, way, gets them upset.
Yeah.
And I see where you're both coming from. But at the end of the day, I still got love for everybody.
So Chris Leho asked the question, why can't Joe say the name? Because it's not worth it. Not worth it. Lyle and Holland talking shit. That's a great line right there by Star Wars Stuff podcast.
Man, shout out to the OGs, dude. I used to love their show back in the day.
Dude, Lyle and Han were so funny. Dude, it was so bad. They used to go, and now news from abroad. And then the girl would go, thanks, guys. It was so bad. No, but, you know, it's the idea of punching down. Like, it's one thing that if there's beef with somebody that always interacts with you on Twitter, but if it comes out of left field and you have no idea who this person is, like you told me more in the last 15 seconds about how he was a DJ at 99.5
Kiss back in the day.
Dude, I have listened to Kiss my entire life. I'm a rock fan. I know I make fun of Taylor being a Swiftie and all that stuff, but I mean, if you go through my Spotify, 50-60% of it is rock music that is probably played on Kiss. Going from 70s rock and 90s rock. That's kind of my rock time frame. I ended at Linkin Park, right? Never heard of the guy.
I'm just saying.
Never heard of the guy.
Oh, man.
That guy is trying to use me as leverage for something. Sorry, dude. And also, if it's coming after a sports take, great. But that guy made an absolute fool out of himself with something. I'll give you an example here as we let people go. That young lady who came after me and people were like, oh, she's roasting you, Jimenez. I wasn't battling back for a reason. It's because that is a young woman who's 20 years old, 21, 22 years old. That is a young woman out there who is supporting UTSA football. Why would I step over her?
Yeah.
Why would I do that? And I was like, I respect the take. I respect the take. And, Fernandez was trying to like throw gasoline on it. And he goes, oh, you simp for her by saying that you respect the take and all that stuff. No, I respect the take. I'm glad. I want female sports fans to be out there. Why would I pile on them? I will pick and choose my battles. If I want to go toe-to-toe with you, Joe, or Fernandez, or John Dyer, or Jonathan C., or any of these people, or Rudy J., Minix, Reinagel. Dude, yeah. Reinagel and Minix and I would go after each other, and we were on the same radio station. We'd call each other idiots.
Yeah.
And we were on the exact same radio station. But you see, we were on various levels that were equal. And I don't want to... There are people who are bigger than me. It'd be like like Stephen A. Smith would never start a beef with me because Stephen A. Smith is 100 times bigger than me, times 10, times 10, and times 10 beyond that. It would be punching downward. me going after a guy who apparently was a 995 Kiss is punching downward. Just is. Chris Layhouse saying Jimenez is above everyone.
Jeez, man.
John C. reaches out and says all 995 Kiss plays is Stained, Creed, Trapped, same playlist since 2003. It's because rock music died around 2005, dude. It was Linkin Park and then Incubus and then that is it, man. Yes, todo, man. That is all that happened, man. Nothing has happened ever since that. Has never happened since that. But this has been a fun show. I'm not going to be here for Friday because typically I'll be here on Fridays. Now, I might be available, Joe, just let you know, for a call-in.
Okay, like Jeff does.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the LSU campus on Friday.
Yeah.
But my daughter has class from 12 to 1.
Oh, okay.
So because she has class from that 1 hour, I might be able to get on my phone and do a Spernandez walk and talk from Tiger Stadium. So that might be interesting.
Hey, that would be nice, dude, if you did something like that.
So I think I can make that happen.
Yeah.
But very, very nice, man. Very, very nice. Well, my name is Mike Jimenez. I'm above everybody.
No, God.
According to Christopher Leha. Okay, according to Christopher Leha, I'm above everybody. Hey, don't forget also subscribe to Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5, Jeff Garcia, Jeff G Spurs Zone. He has a story coming out today saying that the Spurs have a new two-way player. That's a big deal because that's another person on the roster. The Spurs got rid of Cameron Payne last week. Follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. He also has a story about a new mural.
Yeah, Wemby mural.
That is out there about Victor Wembanyama. Looks good, man. That one looks tough.
Yeah, and I'm also today's guest on Locked On Spurs, so make sure you check that out. We talk about LaMarcus Aldridge in his comments when a Spurs fan asked if he would be interested in coming back and maybe coaching Wemby, and we're also going to talk about the Spurs point guard spot and should it be a point guard I guess by committee, or what other point guards are available at the position, and kind of talking about the scenarios and who is actually going to be the point guard for this coming season. We already kind of know, but we're just talking about different scenarios.
Real fast, Chris Bettis reaches out and says 995 reminds me of my old warehouse job, LOL. I read that because the monitor is so far away. I have really good eyesight, but for some reason towards the end of the day with all the bright lights, I can't see sometimes. And I thought it said Spaghetti Warehouse, and I was like, dude, that place is closed. I used to love Spaghetti Warehouse, man.
Oh yeah, dude. It's still, I used to go back in the day, but the last time I went out there, I ended up getting a really nasty respiratory infection because they were cleaning out the air vents at the same time that they had patrons there. And I had to have like a slew of antibiotics and everything. And I vowed I would never go back to that place.
So Chris Layhouse says 2010 vision. He said, I do have 2010 vision, but what do we have above us? We have this massive ring light right here. We've got these track lighting right here. We have another ring light, and then you've got the rest of the lighting in the room.
Yeah.
And by the time an hour 15 goes by, it's like I see stars.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on over here.
Yeah, we got like 3 monitors over here that I'm looking at. Yeah. So
yeah, man, we got to bring it to a close because I got like 5 minutes till I got to log in to work.
Mike Baez, Jimenez with the subtle shots. LOL.
God.
I feel bad for you. I don't even think about you. That's a great line from Mad Men.
Jeez,
that's a great line from Mad Men, but very, very cool. Ain't gonna punch down. Ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. Everyone have a great day today. Thank you for watching. And for those of you who are listening in the future, thank you so much for being part of this show. Again, this is the Alamo City Sportscast here in San Antonio, Texas. My name's Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. Peace out.
We'll see y'all later. Peace.